All right, let's talk resumes. Today we're going to be taking a look at different samples of resumes. We're also going to cover tips, tricks, and trends for writing a resume. In terms of our overview for today's session, we'll cover resume versus job application, the different types of resumes, content, what you should include in your resume, and tips and final thoughts. So let's take a look at resume versus job applications. For starters, a resume is a document that you create, and it's going to be based on what you decide to share/include. Most importantly, what you do have on your resume should tie back to the job that you're applying to. So you want to make sure that you highlight your experience and qualification that make you the best match for that position. On the job application side, it's essentially a document that employers create. So they want to know what they want to know. These applications might be unique to the role, and they might have specific screener questions and assessments. An example of a screener questions can be, let's say you're applying for an LVN position, and they want to know if your licensure is up to date. So a potential question for this can be, do you have a current up-to-date LVN license? Or two, they might want to know, do you have a CPR card or a BLS? So just make sure to answer these questions truthfully and honestly. In terms of the different types of resumes, there are four that we're going to focus on today, that being your chronological, functional, targeted, and combination resume. Your chronological opens up with an introduction and then provides an overview of your professional work history in reverse chronological order, meaning that your most current position will be at the very top, and then your oldest will be at the very, very bottom. The functional resume is perfect for those that want to break into a specific field, or two, that maybe don't have too much work history. So instead, they want to focus on skills and abilities. The targeted resume is going to be a resume that's tailored for each position you apply to. And the combination resume combines the best aspect of, let's say, a functional, maybe a chronological, maybe a targeted, maybe all of them. So decide what resume works best from you based off of the information provided in this slide. Content. What should I include? It is recommended that you include these 7 pieces of information in your resume, but do note that you can add, remove as you see fit. Our recommendation is that you include your contact information, a highlights of qualification or professional summary, education, highlights of skills, experience, accolades and accomplishments, and clubs and affiliation. So for your contact information, this is what you want to have in that section. You want your name, contact email, contact phone number, city and state, and this is optional but recommended, a blog, portfolio, or LinkedIn profile. If you are going to use different font sizes for your name, it's encouraged that you use only 2 font sizes bigger than the rest of your resume. So if you're using a 12 font size, your name should be about a 14 to 16 font size. You can bold if you'd like, but I would just leave it bolded, nothing more. For your contact email, make sure that your email is professional in nature. I would avoid using favorite team names, mascot names, or even hobbies. I would mainly focus on having your email address be your first name, last name, and then at the domain that you do have your email with. For your contact phone number, you want to make sure that you do have your area code. You also want to make sure that you have your voicemail set up. As you begin to apply to jobs, chances are that you are going to be receiving phone calls. So if you don't answer your phone, you want to make sure that there's an appropriate voicemail that an employer can leave a voicemail to get in contact with you. City and state takes place of the address. So instead of having your full address, you can substitute by just having your city and state. So if you do live in Fresno, California, you would type in Fresno, comma, C and A. Do note that that C and A do need to be capitalized, so you want to make sure that takes a shape here. If you are going to write the full word, make sure that you write California without any errors. The next section that you want to focus on is the highlight of qualification or a professional summary. The highlights of qualification is going to highlight any professional or academic-based accomplishments. It's basically going to show the employer the value that you bring. And two, it's going to have qualities that you have to demonstrate that is going to ensure your success within that organization. Generally, this is going to be about a 3 to 4 line summary. For the professional summary route, this is going to be about 1 to 2 sentences, about 3 to 4 lines as well. And you're going to focus on who you are, what you are seeking, and what skills you have to offer. Essentially, with the professional summary and the highlights of qualification, you want to make sure that you tailor this to the job that you're applying for. Here are some examples. Example 1 takes a look at highlights of qualification, and it focuses it on 2 different aspects. One being academic, the other being professional work experience. So this individual has completed the classroom training for industrial automation with a pretty high GPA. Along with that, they do have some supervisor experience that they feel is important for the position that they're applying to. Example 2 is a professional summary. And again, it kind of goes over that who they are, what they're looking for, and what skills they have to offer. Here's the example. A current Clovis Community College student majoring in computer science, seeking a position that will utilize their skills in Python, C++, and technical skills. These are great examples of highlights of qualification and a professional summary. For education, you do want to make sure that you put all post-high school institutions that you've attended or attending. You want to start off with Clovis Community College and then make sure that you list a degree that you're pursuing or completed. And if you have a GPA above 3.2, I would highly recommend that you put that there. That's great bonus points that you want to make sure that you talk about in your resume. And then optional, but again, highly encouraged, is related coursework or projects. High school is optional, not necessarily required, especially as you continue pursuing other degrees. So if you do plan on transferring over to, let's say, a 4-year university, your 4-year university would go above Clovis Community College. If you do go on for a master's degree, again, same thing, that would kind of go above your bachelor's degree. So really just kind of place your education in order of level of accomplishments. The example that we do have on this slide here is as followed. You have the college listed. See too how we don't use acronyms with anything that we're talking about here. We don't put CCC, we put Clovis Community College. On the very right hand, you do have your city and state. Again, California, if you're going to be using abbreviations, it is a capital C and a capital A. Next, you do have the degree that this student is pursuing. In this case, they are pursuing an associate's degree for transfer. In terms of their accomplished degree, they haven't really graduated yet, so they did put an expected graduation date, and that is expected May 2022. You can do this with your personal resume, or two, you can put your start date to current if you don't know when you will be transferring out, and that's definitely fine as well. The next thing you have is your major. This individual is majoring in kinesiology, and you do have a pretty good GPA, so they went ahead and put that on this section as well. And finally, they closed off this education section with relevant courses. So relevant courses are going to be that to the position that you're applying to. So this individual feels like anatomy, physiology, human biology, intro to general chemistry are important for the position that they're applying to. Do note when they list a course, they do list a course name, not the catalog name. So if you have taken, let's say, Biotan or Chemistry 3, you want to make sure that you list a course name and not the catalog name, because employers won't know what the catalog name is. For skills, you do want to take a look at the job description or the position that you are interested in applying to, and then self-evaluate. What skills do you feel that you are proficient in that are highlighted in those advertisement or a job description? Ask a coworker, ask a colleague, use online resources. We do have these online resources on the template that is in this course. An example of skills that you can showcase are as follows. This individual broke down their skills to technical skills and personal skills. In addition to this, they went ahead and listed their level of proficiency in the skill. So you want to make sure that you do that as well. This, for example, proficient in Microsoft Office, and they went ahead and included the different Office programs that they're proficient in, that being Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint. They're also familiar with Apple Mac OS, Microsoft Windows, and they have a basic knowledge and understanding of medical terminology. And they went ahead and include their words per minute as well as their accuracy. So these are great skills for you to include in your own resume. Additionally, they did put personal skills, and they listed the following: organized, functional, team player, efficient, and task-oriented, fast learner, and high attention to detail. Again, these skills are what the student wanted to share for their own resume. Yours may be different. They may look very, very similar. But again, the key thing when developing your skills in your resume is make sure to look at the job description and use that job description as a checklist for your personal resume. Professional experience includes any internship, work experience, clinical experience, or volunteer work. And overall, your formatting should be consistent to the rest of your resume. List a company name, location, title, and dates. Dates are crucial. Make sure that you don't just list the year. You also want to make sure that you list the month. And when you list a month, I would highly suggest to list the full month name and don't abbreviate or use the acronym for that. Additionally, you want to use power verbs. Paint a picture. What were you doing in that job that may be beneficial to the position they're applying to now? As mentioned, you always want to tie back what you do on your resume back to the job description or the advertisement that you're wanting to pursue. The example that we have listed below is as followed. This individual worked at Walter C. Smith, that is located at Fresno, comma, capital C, capital A. Again, remember to capitalize those abbreviations. And then their title is administrative assistant. If you just volunteered and you don't know the job title name, you can put volunteer in this section. For dates, they put September 2017 till December 2019. And we'll go over one example of a bullet point that they put. They put effectively perform data entry on specialty accounting software, and they included the software that they utilize. In this case, they use Construction Partner and QuickBooks. Assisted in implementing software changes and updates. So again, with your bullet points, you want to paint that picture, right? Make sure that you leave questions out of the equation for hiring managers to ask. Focus on what you want to do for these particular positions. The next section is accolades and accomplishments. For this, you want to focus on any academic or professional awards, recognition, and this includes Employee of the Month and Most Improved. An example of this is as followed. You have accolades and achievements, and then they had successfully obtained a Dean's List for both spring and fall 2020, and they also received an Outstanding Student Award in 2009. So if you have any awards or accomplishments, this will be the place for you to showcase that. For clubs and affiliation, highlight any clubs or affiliations you're a part of. Include your role if possible, and include dates that you're active in. And I would highly suggest you provide a brief summary of what you did in each of those clubs. Here's an example. This individual was part of a pre-professional health club, as well as the American Medical Women's Association, and include the years. Again, you want to make sure that you provide a brief summary to showcase what you did. If you were a vice president or treasury, make sure that you indicate that in each section below. And once everything's all said and done, you have your resume. So just combine everything and your resume should look something like this. Final thoughts for a resume. Your experience will determine the length of your resume, so don't force it. If you work 3 years, 4 years, let your experience speak for the length of your resume. If you haven't really had any work experience, that's fine. Focus on your academic experience. Your resume will evolve throughout the years and your career. Your resume is really a living document. So as you receive accomplishments, as you receive experiences, make sure that you update that resume for years to come. Your resume should most importantly be consistent with formatting, layout, font size, font type, and overall should be easy on the eyes in terms of, does this look clean? Does this look concise? Do I know what I'm looking at in each section? You also want to tie back your resume to the job description or the advertisement that you're applying to. And also evaluate where you want to go and where you are today. It does take time to get to different roles, and understand that's okay. It's all about the journey, right? And finally, if you're not receiving any phone screenings, update your resume. So if you are applying to multiple positions and you're noticing you're not getting any calls back, definitely fine. Take a step back, take a deep breath, and update your resume accordingly. And finally, stay motivated. If you need any additional help or would like a second set of eyes on your resume, you can contact the Career Resource Center. Our phone number is 559-325-5398. Our email is careercenter@cloviscollege.edu, and our location is in AC2 Building 174. Thank you.